Hi, everyone. Today we are continuing in our reading of the book of Acts together. We're in chapter 7 today. We're in part 2, and it's going to be a continuation of what we started yesterday. We pick up with the man Stephen, who was one of the 7 people who was given the job of preaching to a group of Hellenized Jews, which meant that they spoke Greek, and there was a language barrier, so they needed people who could speak Greek to these Hellenized Jews in order to share the gospel with them. And so that's who Stephen was. And a group of people started to get upset about what Stephen was preaching, and so they started to spread lies about what Stephen was preaching, specifically that he was blaspheming, I can't say that word right, blaspheming God and Moses. And so the religious leaders actually arrest him, and the high priest gives Stephen the chance to speak to these lies that have been brought up against him. And so Stephen is giving this long discourse starting yesterday in our reading of kind of a history of the people of Israel. And he is emphasizing points in Israel's history to show how God has been present, has shown up all throughout history, but how the people of Israel have missed it. And so we're going to read the tail end of today's reading together today, starting at verse 37, chapter 7, verse 37. And Stephen says, Moses himself told the people of Israel, God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your own people. Moses was with our ancestors, the assembly of God's people in the wilderness, when the angel spoke to him at Mount Sinai. And there Moses received life-giving words to pass on to us. But our ancestors refused to listen to Moses. They rejected him and wanted him to return to Egypt. They told Aaron, make us some gods who can lead us, for we don't know what has become of this Moses, who brought us out of Egypt. So they made an idol shaped like a calf, and they sacrificed to it and celebrated over this thing they had made. Then God turned away from them and abandoned them to serve the stars of heaven as their gods. So Stephen is drawing a comparison here between how the people of Israel rejected Moses, someone who was sent by God to lead them. And so he's drawing this comparison between Moses and Jesus. Stephen talks about a prophet, and the prophet he's referring to is Jesus. And the people of Israel rejected Jesus as well. And so Stephen is saying, you have been blind and you have turned to worship other things instead of God himself. He says that God turned away and gave them up to worship things other than him. Now, I want to camp on this because I think the message that Stephen is emphasizing here for the religious leaders is a message that we can take to heart too. And that is, don't miss Jesus. In the same way that the people of Israel time and time again have missed God because they have been worshiping other things, of placing other things on the pedestal above God. And the same way that they rejected what Jesus came to proclaim as truth and miss Jesus, miss the Savior of the world because of it. I think today we can miss Jesus because of the things that we build up in our lives as sort of small g gods, the things that we prioritize, the things that we emphasize and look to for answers, for hope, for fulfillment in place of Jesus. So I think today the message is to look to Jesus instead of all those other things because they won't bring fulfillment. The only thing that it promises to give lasting hope, lasting peace, and answers to the questions that we may have is Jesus. So look at your life. What are the things in my life that I put above Jesus, and instead to run back to him and prioritize him and your relationship with him, because that's the only thing that's going to bring lasting hope. Grace and peace to you today. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
If these devotional videos are helpful to you, Subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.